So with that, let's get started. Welcome to your first session, of course. How are you feeling about working together for this? Are you excited? I know I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, you're the GOAT, so as a
Really?
Polish Sheik main, I've been watching you for like 10 years, so I'm excited.
Nice. Honestly, like I'm still surprised people remember me sometimes. Like it's not, and I don't mean that in like a weird like, oh my god, I have no self-esteem way. I just mean like it's been a while because I was gone for like 6 years, and then you've had like the rise of JMOOC, and I'm just like, when a player like that comes around, especially if they have like a similar style or similar like principles in their style, I feel like the older one gets forgotten, but you guys remembered. I think that's sick. So let's talk about you. And let's start with win condition.
Okay.
So I see that you are. So I like that you actually focused on like a particular part of the game state, like grab or something like that, right? So
Yeah.
the way I always think of win condition is like you're leaning, like kind of like what you're alluding to. Is it something you achieve, and it's a specific game state? I always define it at the point in which the opponent is no longer able to fight back. So.
Okay.
What that means here is it's the point at which, like, the opponent's options are effectively gone. They don't have the ability to reposition. They don't really have the ability to do anything fundamentally useful. It's just they can take the damage until they die, or the person in advantage makes a mistake, whichever comes first. So that might sound a little nebulous, but I'll give you an example. Say you're Marth versus Luigi on FD. You get Luigi above you without his jump. Win condition, because Luigi has no way down and get through Marth's fair up air and up tilt. He just has to take damage until he eventually dies or the Marth messes up, because he has no counterplay. Knowing that, what's one that you think that Sheik might have?
I think similarly against like Marth, if he doesn't have a jump above you, it's hard for him to come down.
Yeah. I would say that's softer, for sure. But, like, I would agree with you. Like, the sharking position that you get from that is extremely, like, it's very deadly. There is some counterplay, like, he could counter, he could side B. Like, he's got stuff, but, like, so I wouldn't say he's quite as helpless, but I would say that, yeah, he's got, it's very close. If it's not there, it's very close to it. That would be, like, the step right before. I'd say I'd say most characters recovering below the edge versus Sheik when she's on the ledge.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because they're dead, right? Like,
Yeah.
you just do the things. Like, it might be a long procedure, it might be like a bunch of steps, but there's fundamentally very little they can do to get back, to actually overcome that. Yeah, another one would be, you grabbed Peach at 120 on FD. Because, yeah,
Okay.
she just doesn't have a way to defend against the down throw up air. She's dead. Like, unless you mess up, the stock is gone. So reaching damage and hitting specific openings absolutely counts. Not all of them are created equal, but yeah, it's just mostly to get you thinking about, what are we eventually playing towards?
Right, okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense, or do I sound crazy?
No, yeah.
Okay. So, undershoots, whiff punish, overshoots. Let me see. Cool. So from your wording, it's clear, but just to confirm, you're aware that these three have a rock, paper, scissors relationship?
I don't really totally get how punishing is in that.
Sure. So let's use your example. So, undershooting. So you have Marth using a nair that lands in front of his opponent, right?
Yeah.
So if the other Marth is like waiting with their in their dash dance, they could grab that. They could whiff punish it, or they could jump backwards and then wait for the Marth to miss and then hit him after with like fair or something. So like the idea behind whiff punishing is that like it really all starts with undershooting, because undershooting is the proactive play. It is the play that claims space or stops somebody from advancing into your territory. It's basically self-defense, if that makes sense. And the idea behind it is that we're expanding our territory or we're defending the territory that we've already got. So it catches an opponent who is standing still or running towards us. whiff punishing is the counter to that, because the idea with whiff punishing is that if undershooting is presenting a fence or building a fence with an attack, whiff punishing says, I'm willing to I'm still going to position and stuff and like dance around. I'm willing to forego actually attacking though, so that I can hit you after your attack. So I'm effectively forfeiting initiative to go second, and then that is when I will hit you. Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
So then how does overshooting... So you complete the system. So how does overshooting counter whiff punishing?
Whiff punishing, they're waiting there or like in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But then you just go in the area and hit them for waiting.
Yeah, overshooting's whole thing is like, I know there's not going to be a fence because you're not going to put one up because you're waiting for me. So I'm going to run right directly at you and kill you. It's the call out. It's the preemptive action. And then undershooting beats that because it just it beats it to the punch. They're like overshooting is trying to charge into the end zone, and the second they get to like, the perimeter, undershooting has something there. So it's kind of how they work together. Can you think of any dynamics you might have seen in in Sheik's matchups where that's at play from her end?
I think probably like boost grab.
Yeah.
Because that tends to be like overshooting.
Yeah. And when do we do? And what is it usually meant to catch? Like, who do we do it against? Usually.
You mean like characters or?
Yeah.
I mean, all of them, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, all of them is a valid answer. But who would you say it's like, if we're teaching somebody Sheik and boost grabbing comes up, assuming we're not talking about tech chasing, when are we going to usually tell people to do it?
Marth?
Yeah, because it's for his dash back, right?
Yeah.
Because he dashes back after like everything. So the idea there is we're overshooting because we know that he's like looking to punish us if we like forward tilt or something, right?
Yeah.
So that we can already see this dynamic kind of playing out here because we're kind of like advancing with like your standard tools, like our, like we might be walking forward and forward tilting. So then he dashes back with punishes, gets out of the way and grabs us. So then part of one of the answers we've come up with, like collectively, and agreed works, is to boost grab him. Because it allows us, like, the lunge allows us to, like, attack deeper into his zone and actually get him some of the time with a big punish. So it's like, yeah, and if we flip it around, we can see similar dynamics with us, too. Like, when we're on the other side, too. Like, how many of us have, dash dance grabbed a Marth approaching fair, right? And then on a later one, instead of doing the approaching fair, he, like, I don't know, maybe he maybe he forward smashes after or something, right? And instead of like waiting for us to, like, he fair down tilts, we dash dance grab the down tilt, but then on the next one, like, maybe he fairs and then like moves forward a bit and F smashes, like walks a bit and F smashes and tippers us. Like, we've all probably died to something like that, and it's because it's catching the retreat zone. So the two of them, the three kind of points, they all work together. They're all important parts of the characters, and more importantly, we can learn a lot about how a character wants to fight based on which ones they're good at. Because not every character is good at all of them. Like Sheik, Marth, Falcon, they happen to be very fortunate that they can do all three in a fairly balanced way. But even amongst the top tiers, like, some of them are better at them than others. Like Fox, I'd argue, is good at like whiff punishing and overshooting, but his undershoots aren't really that good. Falco's kind of like overshoot and undershoot. Puff is more about like whiff punishing and undershooting because she doesn't really have like burst offense. So yeah, and we can kind of like see how you can probably figure out a lot of matchup dynamics just from knowing basic things like which ones are they biased towards. Does that make sense? Or have I lost you? Okay. So quickly on 3. So I give you points for getting 4, 8, and 6 correct in order. Talk to me about 2.
I mean, Dare hurts below, but it doesn't do too much.
Yeah, I only listed 4, 8, and 6 for mine. It seems
Okay.
like, based on your answer, how it's written at the end, I got the impression that you were kind of like, oh, maybe I need a 4th one. Like, 3 seems like too few. Did anything like that happen, or?
More than that, there's a hitbox there, pretty much.
Gotcha. So I asked for the most oppressive things. So I would say that, yeah, like 4, 8, and 6, absolutely. Now here's the cool part, though. Whenever you're watching somebody fight Jigglypuff, where are they usually trying to be if they want to attack her?
In front of her?
So to the side? To her side?
Yeah.
Isn't that where her, like, back air and pound are?
Yes.
I find, so if you imagine Cody, like Cody's Fox fighting Hungrybox, or Jmook's Sheik fighting Hungrybox, where do they usually try to be? Like, when they're trying to, like, fight her, where are they relative to her body?
The side of it. Or do they come from below?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
It's usually from below.
I never thought of this.
No, it's all good. It's all good. They come from below or at diagonals, and if you need examples, I can get them. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because we can see by just like taking a look at where her important moves are relative to her body, that is exactly why they're doing that. It's because the 7 and then 9, the vertical diagonals, and 1, 2, 3, all the spots below her, just represent spots in her kit that she doesn't really cover that effectively. So her movement is like necessarily has to be structured around not letting people into those spaces.
Okay.
But this also tells us where we want to be in response to her when she's doing that stuff. So can you think of a way that this could help you in other matchups? Like if you applied this to other characters?
I do think like this way for Peach and Luigi, where the whole time I just want to be above them, or I never want to be below them, more so.
Okay. Talk to me about that. So why don't you want to? So why is that? What's the dynamic there?
With Peach, none of her moves hit above her. Even the up air is like her feet. And then like she's always coming down with like a FC aerial or whatever. And it's hard for her to go up also. So being above her, she can't put out very many good hitboxes. And then Luigi, kind of similar. A lot of his hitboxes are just lower.
Yeah, like his nair and his dare, like those are some of his scarier moves. So like they're just below him. Yeah.
And like specifically, like a few months ago, I played a local Luigi here, and he just playing him made me realize I should do that. And then like a week later, I played Eddie Mexico in the coin box, and I beat him because I was only thinking of that the whole time pretty much, and it worked out really well.
Gotcha. And I would say that it's probably playing to your strengths in general. Like, you mentioned that, like, you wanted to work on your ground game because ground game is a bit of a pain point for you. But you mentioned also that your platform game is really, really strong. So I would expect that vertical spacing is probably something that comes very naturally to you. Or it's something because you've practiced. It sounds like you've practiced and put a lot of time and dedication into it, which is awesome. I kind of had a similar way of looking at like the Marios and Peach way back in the day. I was always like, aim for their heads. Like whenever you're fighting them and you're doing like the air to air, just aim for their heads. Just bonk them right on their noggin with your fair and bear, and you'll never lose. And I mean, it worked for a very long time. So except not versus Armada. But with that, let's now move on to so I'm excited to work together. I think this is all great. You have good answers. I have a good idea on what I needed from them. So you said you wanted to start with analysis, and you want to kind of like do full analysis this session is what you're leaning towards, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect. So Slippy VODs or the set first? Which one do you want to begin with?
The Slippy VODs against the Fox. Falcon is for sure my worst matchup. I don't really know what I'm doing, like, at all against him.
Do you want to start with him then?
Sure.
Yeah, because I think that, like, if he's, like, a matchup... Well, there is no such thing as being too good versus Fox in this game. Falcon is you have to fight him a very specific way a lot of the time. So I can totally get, like, hating this character if you just, if you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing. So, yeah, let's take a look at this. With that in mind, let me see here. Okay, all this looks good. Can you see the stream?
Yeah.
Cool, let's just put it on 0.75 so it doesn't go super fast, and we'll go from here. Okay, so let's begin. You hand warmer, and okay, cool. This probably starts in just about now. Getting ready, I see. Interesting. So where did you strike to? Dreamland?
Yeah, I always go Dreamland.
Interesting. Okay. Why Dreamland?
I think Battlefield's good for him.
Okay. How come?
I don't really know. But I know back in the day people would say that a lot more, and every time I play on those stages, I think Dreamland just works better even now.
Okay. So one thing I'm noticing already is that you're doing a lot of forward tilts, but he's kind of like playing around them very he's playing around them very actively. So I'll show you what I mean. So you go for that forward tilt, but he's already approaching from a distance, so he's got to stomp out before he's actually close to you. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that could have worked if you had landed sooner before forward tilting, but because he had the time to do his stomp windup, you really had to get out of there. Similarly, like, you go for this one, but, like, he's so far away from you. I kind of think that a lot of, if these forward tilts were just spent more with, like, doing things that keep you a little bit more mobile, a little bit more active, and even just, like, crouching or dashing or walking, I think that you would probably be leaving yourself open less, because I think that's the first thing I see. So, what are your thoughts? Like, what are these forward tilts meant to do? Or do you just think he's going to approach all the time, or, like, what's the plan here?
I probably do think that, because I just think Falcon just runs in aerials.
Now, he's more of a bait and punish. He's more of a wall/bait and punish character in this one. He can't really run forward with aerials because, yeah, your character's made of anti-airs. So, like, because you have your powerful, like, back air, you've got your powerful forward tilt, you've got your up tilt, you've got your jab, you've got like a million moves that are designed for stuffing those kinds of approaches. So those are things they do, but they're more for they're an overshoot. They're meant for catching you from moving away. See what I mean? Like, so what he's doing this knee for is because I think he thinks you're gonna land here and run away. Like, he thought that was a short hop bear and that you were gonna dash this way because that would hit that. But you move to the platform, which is fine. I actually really like how you're containing him with your bear there. I think that's quite good in this matchup once you've gotten, like, stage position. I just think that, like, yeah, we're going for, like, a lot of things that, like... This forward tilt was actually fine after the back air. Because, like, what happens here is, so you go for this, you go here, you go for another one, you create like, a kind of a frame trap, but then you block after the forward tilt. You get your shield out right away so that he doesn't get a counter hit even with the double jump bait. So that's actually a good one. Because it allowed you to, like, go for something without, like, risking much. But that one was also pretty good. But yeah, like, you can see he's not coming in nearly as much as you probably think he is.
Yeah.
Like, this matchup from Sheik's end is, I think, more about containing... Like, you kind of, like, play this kind of, like, open tug-of-war, Marth Sheik style, like, neutral here. And then once you, like, have him in the corner, this is when your, like, containment setups with your, like, forward tilt and your back air and stuff are quite good. But if you don't get him into that position... Like, and then you have... That's where the grabs materialize. Because with him having to play around your legs, he's going to have to block more or crouch. So then you have, because his, like, counter hits don't really work on your stuff. So the matchup kind of, like, opens the option trees up pretty, like, intuitively once you get him contained. But yeah, until he's contained, he's not actually trying to, like, play with you nearly, like, very recklessly at all. He's actually a pretty patient character at high level. I can see why you like Dreamland with that in mind, I think. Because it's like, if you're playing, because you're clearly favoring back airs and stuff, and the space helps with that. Like, there's not as much for like area for him to come in. I think Battlefield is at the better level for her overall, but I think that it's better because you can kind of like, once you are in the containment positions, it's easier to convert them into edge guards, and they're easier to establish because of the smaller size.
Okay.
Yeah. Missed your wave dash fastfall. Let's see. Yeah, see, like, what could we be doing? So I think one of the big things is just, like, I'm concerned as to how this is going to look on a smaller level. Are you generally good on smaller levels in this matchup, or, like, yeah?
I think I'm not as good on Falcon as I should be.
Okay.
I feel like Yoshi's doesn't feel too bad.
Makes sense. Yoshi's is... I really like Yoshi's story against this guy, too. What would you say are your best... If you had to order the stages, in terms of, like, best to worst, how would you do them?
In the matchup?
Yeah, for you.
I do always go Falcon first, but a lot of times I think Yoshi's just works better for me. And then... I still think Falcon's good. And then Dreamland, Battlefield, and then Stadium and FD.
Mm-hmm. So something I'm noticing here is I don't think I've seen you really grab this guy. How come?
I think I'm too scared.
Like, to me, this is like, look at the situations you have against him. He's, like, landing and shielding, then naring. Then we're, like, naring out of shield instead of just grabbing him. Like, it's just, he's just right there so often. So you can see how much yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure, like, when he can and can't, like, gentleman, like, safely, like, after an aerial.
Oh. Does it matter? You can just ASDI down. It's a jab.
With the control stick or the C stick?
Either. Because you're going to down throw him most of the time anyway. So if you, like, CC grab him and buffer down throw to, like, defend against gentlemen, the only thing you're really losing is, like, a couple pummels. You still get the grab. And if he doesn't do it, and, like, if he does do it, then you still get the grab.
How long does that work for?
His jabs are set knockback, so forever, technically.
Even the third hit?
The third hit you would block. So the way that you CC grab his gentleman is that you hold down and then shield grab. Because what happens is like you shield. So like in this here, let's go back to that spot. I think it'll be easier. Like, so where's a spot where you could have grabbed him? Let's see here. So he, like, comes forward with this knee, right? And start with this nair, and you block it. Okay. So what I'm saying is... Wow, he was out of stun a while ago. So what I'm saying is I would be grabbing him here. And the reason I would be grabbing him here is you're saying that you're worried about gentlemen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here's what we do. We're going to grab and hold down. So this is going to be step one, because we're going to do... So we'll need something darker, that's fine. So, on our control stick, we are going to hold down, and then we're also going to use Z at the same time when we shield grab. So this is our, so this would be, and then it would be the A button, because that's green, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So, with this in mind, where's green? I'm blind. All right, A. So, this is our input. A down with Z. No, A and down, because, like, yeah, we don't actually need the Z yet. So, cool. That's fine. Good. Brain.
And you're doing down with C stick to buffer the down throw?
The down with... This is control stick. You can do it with either. Like, it doesn't matter in this. Because what happens here is... So right now your input is something like L or R plus A for the shield grab, and then you're holding this as well. This has to be held down. So then let's say he jabs you, right? So let's say jab. So what happens to us?
Uh,
So let's say he's fast enough to get the gentleman out, to get the first jab of the gentleman out, and he jabs us. So what happens to us if we're doing this, if we're holding this input?
we stay grounded there.
Right, and we go back into shield because we're still holding L or R. So then all we have to do then is press A again.
Okay.
So then
is that a reaction? Or no?
I mean, you might have to mash it. Like, if you mash it, it doesn't really make a difference. But, yeah, like, you'd have to... Like, it's one of those things where if you notice that you got hit by it, you can do it. If you fail the reaction and try to grab anyway, though, and he tries to do the next jab, the next jab is also set knockback. So, yeah, and now, like, so you just... The same thing happens. You just go into shield again. So then from the third one, you just have to do it on that one, you either shield the third hit, you either try to shield grab there before the third hit comes out, or you block the third hit with L or R, and then you grab him then. But it's basically just like, there's multiple points during his gentleman where he's grabbable, and as long as you hold L and R, like, and down together and just go for the shield grab with A, or wait for one of the hits to grab the next one, you are totally fine. Yeah, he shouldn't be able to, like, directly punish you. Like, he shouldn't generally be able to, like, do anything. Like, this is a very scary spot for him. I'll put it that way. He doesn't have, like, God. Do you want me to pull up the frame data? I will pull up the frame data, but...
Okay.
Okay, let me see here.
Can I shield grab the third hit?
Yeah, of course.
Every time?
Of course you can. You know what? Let's just do this in Uncle Punch. Screw it. Like, we'll just do this in Uncle Punch. 1 second. Okay. You can see the screen still, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, with that, Falcon, how fortuitous. So so wait, what, did you think that Gentleman was, like, unpunishable or something?
Kinda.
I see, okay. So save position and human record, probably like that. Cool, playback.
I kind of felt it as like a shine after an aerial.
No, like, it's not nearly that good. So you can see, like he's negative 12. So yeah, he's, like, very doable. And, like, so see what I mean? You can, like, even if you're there, even if you're late on one of them, you can still crouch cancel and go and hold down, right? So
yeah.
So yeah, you have tons and tons and tons of counterplay. Just have to, like, it's just, you have to get used to shield grabbing while holding down. Because that's really what denies, like, that's really what prevents his, like, thing from doing anything. It's the ability to, like, maintain the ASDI down input while doing your other stuff. Because, yeah, then once you do that, his gentleman is not very safe. Like, it's
when
a bunch
do you press down?
You hold down the entire time.
Specifically, but more like before A or like after A?
Doesn't. I would say that you hold down the second your finger touches the A button, the stick and the shield grab starts coming out, then you should be holding down. Like, the instant your character is no longer shielding, because they've gone into grab, that is when you hold down. Because if you do it before then your character is going to spot dodge.
Okay.
Yeah, none of that needs, that shouldn't be a concern. And it's costing you a lot of openings, because you're forced to, like, rely on hits a lot in order to hit him, but that means you're not able to be as mobile, because you have to like, playing for your tilts and stuff requires you to kind of, like, run and stop. So you're not able, like, this is kind of what I mean. So, like, he knows once you get to this spot, as soon as he sees you stop, I feel like that's when he knows that you're going to, like, go for, like, a hit. because it takes so much effort for Sheik to, like, run over, crouch, and then, like, do something, compared to just, like, moving fluidly. And yeah, like, if grab isn't something that you're comfortable going because you're afraid of getting, like, interrupted by gentlemen, I can totally see how that would be a thing. On that note, we need to work on how you can close space. We need to work on how you can close space. Like, this was really good, but you also had, like, the respawn invincibility to assist you. Now you go for the grab. That's really good. Good choice for, like, what to do. And then, yeah, this is where we die, I think. Or, like, soon after. See how much he just shields in front of you, though?
Uh-huh.
Like, this is what I mean. So, if we're gonna go for, like, a pressure string on Falcon here, what do you think would work better here? Like, let's say we don't want to call out grab. Like, we want to attack him, and we see him doing this. What's something we could do? What are some things that would probably work better than this nair?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Are you afraid to have ideas? Is it because it's me? You can't say yes.
Would back air be better?
You have to find a way to turn around.
Yeah.
Why not fair?
Sure.
No. Don't say sure. Like, what? Like, talk to me. Like, it's not. I'm not trying to, like. This is nothing bad will happen if you have an idea and an opinion. What do you think about? So, what are you trying to do with this nair? And I'm just trying to figure out what are you trying to do with this nair, and is there a better way we can do that with another tool?
I think it's hard because I haven't really like thought in depth about my choices per se ever, you know.
Okay. Just because, you know, it doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. If it's not a fancy or complicated reason for doing this nair, that's okay. Like, it might just be, I wanted to attack his shield, but I wanted to be safe after. So I landed on the platform and went into shield drop back air, because that's usually pretty safe. It could just be as simple as that.
Okay. I think also, when I do, like, run up shield nair, I try to like, with the shield makes it so it takes slightly longer. So I try to catch them waiting for me to do something first, kind of.
Oh, okay.
And then the nair comes out.
Yeah, I saw the shield come out, so that's what that's for. Okay, that's cool. So, here's a thought. What if we run canceled here? Like, what if we running crouched here instead?
Into...
Well, like, just for the
nothing,
movement.
or...
Like, just the movement. So, like, here we're shielding, but if we go, like, forward, like, very slightly, right? Then we should enter the point where we're able to, like... We should enter the point where we're able to, running crouch. So what I'm thinking here is, what if we running crouched, here? So, like, we're kind of like a ball here now. Like, that's a pretty tough position for Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, his shield grab doesn't hit us. He has to commit to a stomp to, like, or a knee to get us. We're at 32. The knee sends us, which is the better hitbox, send us that way. So, like, we're not at risk of dying. And then we have all of our offensive tools here, right?
Does this grab not work because we're too short?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he has to be, like, pretty... He has to be pretty deep in order for his grab to hit us. Like, if we were... like, here. If we were here, he'd get us. But from here, nope. You didn't know that?
No.
Okay, so this is explaining things. So yeah, your crouch is amazing against him. Like, actually, this is another thing that's Uncle Punchable. So let me show you that one too. So the impression I'm now getting is that the reason you think you don't play ground is because you don't realize how good your ground game is.
Probably, yeah.
Which is a pretty understandable reason. Like, if you don't know that your things do the things, then like yeah, you would probably think that your ground game is not very good. But like yeah, it does. There's so much like incredible utility with her like crouch and stuff. So yeah, looks like we're here. Like sorry, I have to fast fall. Oh wait, damn it. All right, whatever. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So like this is another reason why I like fairing in that spot too, because you can just kind of like from here you can just go, woo, right? And if he bites with like one of his like things, then you just like do you just hit him. What else could he do here? Like he could down air, I guess, out of shield. So like if he down airs, boom. Like we can just okay. But you can see what I mean. Like this is why I really like going like aerials that go into crouch against him, like just generally speaking for like my pressure, because it allows you to be really, really irritating in this kind of spot. And in fact, I'm actually have to kind of eat my words because I think it's actually closer than that. That like we can actually be about that close because he's gonna get pushed back a little bit. Well, no, because we wouldn't be hitting his shield. Never mind. But yeah, we can be very close to him and in crouch, and he just can't get us with his shield grab. So he's forced to do like really awkward things to deal with us. So yeah, if like running crouch here, if we short hop fair, like if we could do like short hop fair and then enter crouch here as well. Heck, we could even do like if you wanted to do like more of like a Sammy style nair, like Sammy nair works here too. I don't really like it over the fair personally. I think we want the hitbox to come out sooner just because he likes to jump. Like Falcon as a character does. And we don't really get much from how like the extra like +1-ish frames or whatever it is, or +2 frames. In terms of like frame advantage efficiency, because we've already like all of his out of shield options offensively are kind of slow anyway, so we don't really like benefit terribly from that. Yeah, so I'd say like fair is good, crouch is good. Can you think of anything else that might be good here? Like once we get into this crouch, what are some other moves that are good here
After crouch?
Yeah, so like let's say we got to the crouch, what could we do after the crouch?
Well, you kind of showed that forward tilt was good.
Yeah, forward tilt's okay. It relies on him acting out of shield. Like, he has to move. So that's, like, one consideration. What do you think about that? What do you think about, like... What do you think about up tilt? Because we're, like, right here, right? So it would be like this kind of for the hitboxes. So it hits the front of his shield and then hits, like, the second hit, like, hits him again. If he doesn't act between them. Second hit is safe, but he does have the gap between the two hits. What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you like it or not?
I think I might be worried about the gap in between, although probably realistically, they don't take advantage of that as much as I think they will.
I would agree with that. I think that, like, especially because we haven't used it yet, right? So, like, this would also be our first time doing it in the match, so that's a consideration. It might also catch them, like, usually, like, what are they looking for here? Like, for us to forward... what do you think he's looking for on his side? Like, he probably wants us to, like, forward tilt his shield, like, at point blank, right? Could we consider grabbing?
Yeah.
Like, crouch into grab? Yeah, so, like, crouch into... Let's say U-tilt, that's kind of like the hitbox option, grab. Is there any use in like doing another mobility option? Like we could nair back, like we could short hop rising fair back, short hop rising nair back. Those seem pretty safe. Do you think there's any point of those? Okay, so short hop aerial back, no short hop aerial back. Back. And then what about dashing through him? What do you think about just, like, from crouching position, just running through him?
I feel like we're in a worse spot
I'm thinking we pivot grab him.
Or is there enough length for that?
Probably. Like, starting from here to going through him, yeah, we just, like, dash. When we're about here, we turn and grab him.
Okay.
Because then I'm thinking we could back throw. Also,
You're making me think about it. I feel like going through someone and parry grabbing. I don't think I like ever do that with Sheik because their dash is so short.
yeah. Well, maybe that's something that we could do more of.
Yeah.
So I think like one of the big things to keep in mind, crouch is like, so let's summarize. So crouch is something that I want is safer than is safe-ish to grab. Versus grab Falcon grab. So that's like an important thing because it's also safe versus his rising nair, like the nair that hits up. So he has to hit him with the falling, has to hit us with the falling hit, and it also requires him to like stomp, knee, or like falling back here because it also the rising back here also misses. So just from this, I think we can already like extract a lot of conclusions in terms of like what we could be doing better in this matchup. It's really just like we need to understand that our crouch is really a really integral part of our our ground combat. For that reason, I'd almost consider like maybe that means we should be walking more, like in some of these spots, because walking gives us immediate access to crouch. It still keeps our access to our tilts and stuff open, and it doesn't require us to move in such like set units the way that our dash running crouch does, because running crouch has that initial like it's very sectioned off. You know what I mean? Because once we stop, we have to like there's wind up on the next one. So I think one thing that we're gonna want to look out for on this Fountain of Dreams game is are these like things that are like are there patterns here that like conform to what we've already established, and we already see like there's that aerial into up tilt, right? Because you catch his jump there, which is really good. So that is always a grab. Whenever you nudge him, like get him in the air with like one of these things, and he's gonna have to fall. Remember, he's still in stun effectively until he lands, because he's a fast faller, right? So he's gonna have to land on the ground and then go through the auto cancel landing animations, which is another 4 frames of stun. So after you tap him with like that forward tilt, you just grab the landing, like dash, jump, cancel, grab ASAP. Kind of a weird up tilt. I'm assuming that was like for missed tech or something, or you thought it would combo, which makes sense. Like this. This is good. Good. Okay, yeah, that was a pretty good stock. I won't lie. Like there were a few things that were weird, but like nothing like glaring. And I do see more of like the things that we're kind of talking about coming up. Down smash, let's not down smash this guy.
Okay.
The reason for it is that like, so the reason I don't like down smash in this one in this kind of spot is like, it works, but I'd rather it works, kind of, but there's a pretty big gap between the first hit and the second hit. I think that like up tilting for the lower cooldown generally works better, or just grabbing his shield and throwing him off, because we have really good gimping games out of those. Like even if we hit that down smash, a lot of times like we don't actually convert to kill. It's also that's the other thing that can go wrong. Like you can just knee or stomp out a shield on it too, which is a problem. That edge guard one is fine. Like the one that you just did there, that's perfect. Like that's perfectly fine. Zero problem with that. But like by trying to like bulldoze into him with down smash is just not a good idea. Because it's your laggiest it's one of your laggiest ground moves, if not your laggiest ground move. And then on top of that, it doesn't lead to combos or like the type of set punishment that we're usually looking for. Okay, he should be dead. What on earth just happened? Okay. So let's talk gimping. So you get him off stage here. Why are we going for down smash?
Where?
Yeah, like, so you're gonna go for down smash here.
Oh. I guess if he just mispaces his jump.
And I get that, like, but now that we know that, like, maybe, like, now that we know that he won't misspace his jump, because he can sweet spot the edge, what's something we could do here instead?
Down tilt?
Gonna have the same problem. You can still sweet spot under it.
Maybe either grab ledge first or short hop needle.
Why are you afraid of going off stage? That's okay. Relax. Again, I'm just asking because the way I view this is, so like if this is the stage, you're doing down smash which hits here, and then you're doing like down tilt which also hits here, right? So we haven't like fundamentally solved the problem of like hitting something below. Like let's say that he can grab edge from about here. Like he can be about that low below the level and grab the edge. And I don't know if that's exactly the amount he can be below, but you know how you can grab a little bit below the edge with any character. In fact, let's make it here. Let's make it right here. So we haven't solved the fundamental problem that we are faced with, which is that he's going below these moves. So we need to put something below here in the way of this. So what can we do that does that?
Run off nair or back air?
Yeah, absolutely, because we go down to here and we come up with like a big hitbox that covers like this area. Absolutely, that will work. So like that's one option. I think that the needles you suggested can work. Grabbing the edge also technically occupies the space, but I feel like that creates like a pretty awkward situation. Although, if you grab fast enough, you can also do this, have coverage here, with like ledge hop back air, and you can also be intangible. So, like, really, the things that are like that are important to keep in mind are, one, when he drops low, can he make it back with just his double jump? Because that's really like one of the key things about edge guarding any character with her. And this will help you versus Fox too. So, like, checking to see if they can make it back with their jump or not, and how close that like is a pretty important thing. The other cool thing about like waiting here, by you waiting here for him to like get into the point where he can sweet spot the edge. The nice thing is that like you're not actually losing anything by waiting here in case he jumps up aggressively. And I'll tell you why. If he jumps up aggressively, like say he winds up around here, he's gonna have to fall to the stage anyway, like or fall to the ledge or stage, whatever he winds up on anyhow. So you still have time. You still have time to like react. Like you still have time to react to that, and you're not losing anything. Once he dips to the point where he has to like recover with his double jump or double jump plus air dodge. At that point, that's when you know that you can go off for this kind of play. So as soon as he gets to that kind of point where he can't make it on stage with his double jump, yeah, you can be more aggressive about going for these kinds of like run-off double jump setups or edge grab setups, because he's given you because the air dodge he spends is going to take him time. Like in order to get back, he has to basically double jump plus air dodge or a B. So then he's committed himself for longer.
When you're saying aerial off stage, like falling aerial or run off double jump aerial?
You can do either. You can do either of them here. Like both. Again, if you fall off aerial, what happens? You just put an aerial here and cover like this space. That still works. Why wouldn't that work?
I think at least I'm afraid that he goes into the stage and techs.
Okay, so we don't do that one then. We do this one, like we do the run-off double jump aerial, because if he goes into the stage and techs, he just like up B's over here, right?
Yeah.
So
I was doing some of the run-off double jump fairs earlier, but that was mainly, I think, when he up B's more. But so I think here I might be more scared that he like double jumps up airs or something.
So if you're worried that he'll double jump up air, because that's fair enough, he could do that. That would actually be a good reason to short hop needle then. Because you could jump backwards, right? You could jump like around to like here, and then fire the needles like this. So it like hits him if he comes up with this up air. But yeah, like you have a lot of options here for like killing him. He's he's in a lot of hot water. And what surprised me is that we just weren't really like pushing our advantage here. So this is why I wanted to break this down, because whenever I see somebody like standing on stage with Sheik and like down smashing against Captain Falcon, that's usually a sign that I think that they think the situation's a lot more dangerous than it actually is. And I think here we can see you have a lot more paths to like a lot more effective paths that cover both the spots that this is covering, and then also the spots that we need to cover too on the low recovery. So we want to be using that. We want to be using that more, I would say. Another cool thing you could do, you could shield. Like if you turn around here and shield, You can all if you see him double jump up, if he double jumps up with the aerial, he has to do that while rising, right?
Yeah.
But you're blocking, so then you just wave dash out of shield, grab the edge. If you're holding shield here and he double jumps up, you just wave dash, grab the edge on reaction in response, or wave dash off, fast fall, double jump bear or nair or something. Because you can do all this stuff backwards too, right? So you have like there's a mix up, like you even have like options that like take advantage of which direction you're facing that also expand the tree and give you more ways to cover like things like that up air.
So on reaction of the double jump, you can wave dash off, double jump aerial.
Actually,
or
yeah.
Is that not what you said?
So, no, that's what I said, but I'm looking at it now and I'm like, probably not the double jump aerial. You probably could wave dash back and grab and like attack him. You could probably wave dash into attack.
Like falling aerial?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the facing backwards versions though, because there's more. I don't like having to do all those reactions. I'd much rather cover options, especially in a position that good. So I'd probably the ones that I'm leaning towards are run off double jump aerial, grab the run off double jump aerial, grab the edge, or do needles. Those three are usually the ones I'm going to gravitate towards versus Falcon. And generally, it's going to be the grab.
Can you say those again?
Yeah, run off. So generally speaking, if he's in this kind of spot. I'm thinking we shoot needles to cover here, or we immediately grab the edge.
Okay.
Probably grab the edge would be the one I'd do first, because like, yeah, he's just we want to cover this space really really hard, because it's just where he recovers, and we want to it has the benefit of the run off double jump aerial stuff, but then you're also intangible, so he can't up air. So it just kind of like deals with all the problems. So this is losers finals. What's this guy ranked in your region?
RPR is kind of weird, but probably just right below me, one spot.
Okay, and are you the best player or?
Second best below Bobby, Big Balls.
Oh, you're from Bobby's region. Right. I gotcha. Wow, Sheik Falcon. That's such an interesting character distribution. So he goes FD. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like FD?
Against Falcon?
Yeah.
I don't hate it too much. I guess I like it like a 6.
Okay.
Maybe a 5.
6, 5. Okay, that makes sense.
In my head, like, I hate it, but in practice, I always do kind of fine on it.
Gotcha. So what's it like? What are you trying to like? So we're still doing these forward tilts and stuff. I noticed that we're also doing them like super low when he's on the ground. What do you?
Sorry, what'd you say? You cut out for a second.
Oh, I'm noticing we're doing them super low when he's still on the ground. And
doing what?
Forward tilt.
Okay.
And I just a lot of these are definitely crouch cancel grabbable. You know what I mean? Like look at that. Now it still works, but I think that like something we might want to consider is what options can we go for that are not so crouch cancelable, and yeah, like what can we do that doesn't leave us so open to stuff like that, to risk like that, because we don't want to give him counter hits if we don't have to, you know.
Like back air?
Yeah, could back air. Like you're getting more like. I think that we're not doing. I think what we need to be doing is we need to be remembering that our moves are generally better than his, unless we're like approaching directly into unless we're putting our jump, like the start of our jump, into his legs. Our attacks are generally better than his, or like we're going into his up air. Our attacks are generally going to beat his. So I think we need to be like more willing to get close to him and force the scrap kinds of situations that our character is really good in.
Okay.
Because, like, here. So, here he is stuck in shield. He had to, like, once he got into his shield here, he basically had to roll, right? To, like, not play this mix-up. So, I'm saying, like, let's try to stay, once that happens, let's try to stay, like, close to him, and just generally speaking. Like, let's not even bother doing, like, because we know our crouch is safe now, let's not even bother doing, like, the dash away. Let's just crouch there and, like, chase him immediately after. Because I think that's going to help you. I think that's going to help you. Two, I think that we need to start turning grab instead of these dash attacks into, like, our main, like, punish follow-up. Because a lot of times these dash attacks wind up getting shielded, and if we had just been willing to grab him, like, yeah, that wouldn't be happening. It's his fastest defensive move is his shield, because he doesn't have one frame, like, or crouch, because he doesn't have one frame moves or a good spot dodge. So he's going to be doing those things a lot when he's put on, like, the back foot, just because he has to. And dash attack does not deal with those things nearly as well as grab does.
Okay. I think in some of those, I assume the dash attack was gonna hit, like a true follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's fair, but he's also he's heavy and a fast faller, right? So the rules of rules of comboing him are a little different than Fox and Falco. You really want to treat him more like you kind of want to treat him more like Ganon or Donkey Kong. In a lot of ways. Like, he's like a Ganon or Donkey Kong that hits the ground, that, like, falls a little faster. But, like, treating him like a lightweight character where you're trying to get all these, like, light hits together, it's not really how you beat him. He actually, like, you can still contain him, and you contain him with them because they're just more efficient than the tools he has, but they don't really, like, link together nearly as cleanly as they do on the characters who get sent flying from them, you know?
Yeah.
Let's talk about his when he's above you. So, like, I notice a lot of the time when he's above you, you're trying to, like, you wind up shielding a lot. Why do we shield? What other, like, what is the shield for? The shield is basically because you're worried you're gonna get hit, right? So, one, totally understand that. Two, though, like, look at how long he spends winding up for this, like, stomp after his back air misses, right? So, like, if we had wave dashed out of the way or dashed out of the way, if we just hadn't gone into shield to begin with and just stayed, like, active on the ground, we could have easily gotten out of the way of that stomp and then probably punished the landing, right? So we need to like lower our dependency on shield. Our shield is, like, not shield, like, crouch is generally a much better defense against a lot of the things he's doing. And if he goes above you and comes down, then a lot of times that also allows you to dash dance. Because, like, again, look at what's going on here. Like, look at how this dynamic plays out. So you get stuck above him because you do that jab, but, like, yeah, we're still allowing him to stomp with way too much freedom. I know that technically worked out because you got, like, the shield grab, but it's all kind of part of the same problem where, like, we're trying to catch him in spots where we can't catch him, and then we have to block, like, and then we have to block after, and then he comes down with, like, big things. But yeah, we don't have to do that. Like, I just don't know. Like, we just need to stick to the ground. We just need to have confidence. We have to have confidence in the ground and be willing to move and crouch more.
Okay.
I would also use your up tilt more. Up tilt is amazing against this character. Down tilt is also very, very good against him. Like, your jabs can be really good. Like, this is a lot of the things you're doing once you're in are quite good. And they're doing the important work of getting him to shield and commit to defense, but then we're also not and that's all good, but then we're never capitalizing on it with grab, or, like, we're very seldomly doing that. How, like, what other? I think we need to think more about, like, how he can respond to the things we're doing, because I think that's really missing right now. We're just, like, assuming he's gonna run in, but he's just not doing that all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So after this, this would be another example of, like, where, like, ground movement can really work. Because imagine if you had just done, like, you're gonna go for, like, a back air or something here, right? But imagine if instead of jumping in place, you'd moved a little bit to the side, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm getting at? Like, you're allowing. It's like both of these characters are kind of bad if they're above or below the, like, both these characters are bad like at vertical games against each other, because they both want the other person above them basically when they're comboing, and their best moves are both side to side moves. So, but instead of playing to that, we're kind of going into the air a lot and trying to meet him where he is instead of just spacing to the side basically. Because you can see when you're spacing to the side, he's forced to shield and stuff above you a lot. But we're just not playing to that. Like that should have been that was good. That should have been a grab. That was good of him to dash to the side. We're also naring onto the platforms. Like, instead of doing this nair, just let's try doing something just more efficient. Like, let's just do short hop fair here. To if you think he's gonna jump around, jump in this general vicinity, let's try to do short hop fair to cover that. Because if you had short hop faired, you'd already would have been landed and could have up tilted. You could have dashed away. You would have had options available basically. Okay. So the biggest thing here is we just want to try to limit how much we use our full hop to cover options, because full hop is not efficient. Not compared to your short hop. It also makes, more short hop aerials, instead of full hop aerials is a big thing.
It's a known thing that I have a little bit of a problem full hopping. Sorry, short hopping.
Gotcha. Well, so when you say you have a problem doing it, what do you mean? Is it just an execution thing, or?
Mostly execution, yeah.
Okay. I would strongly recommend that is something that gets tons and tons and tons and tons of focus put onto it, because this is the character where your full hop is worst against. I can't think of a single character. It's Fox. If I had to pick 3 characters who your full hop is is not good against, it would be this guy, Fox, and probably Marth. Those are the 3 that immediately come to mind. Now, you can play more grounded versus Marth in general because his moves are weaker, so maybe he's not a problem. But you said your worst matchups are Falcon and Fox. I have a very strong suspicion this is why. Because it just means that you're committed to the air, and they're so fast, it's too easy for them to get under you or move around you. Look at that, right? Because the idea behind Sheik's short hop is that a lot of times you can just kind of do it and get them to react, but then you're able to land first because it's not quite a full hop, but it's higher than a normal short hop. That's really useful when you're trying to pressure these guys. But because we're just committing to full hop, we're just shooting our efficiency in the foot too much. So, yeah. It suddenly makes a lot of sense as to why I'm expecting to see short hop fairs into crouch and things like that when he's shielding, and you're going for full hop nair. It's because there's just there's an execution barrier on that particular piece of tech. But it's very, very important because, you're more than doubling the amount of time you need to be in the air. And that's just too much of a commitment against this guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if I had to let's summarize. So, I'm gonna say at the very top of our key takeaways, we need to comfortable short hop. Need to be comfortable short hop. Need to gain some comfort. To gain some amount of comfort with short hops, because they're just very, very, very essential against him. In addition to that, we can also say we mentioned crouch and walk. Crouch in when in close quarters versus Falcon to duck under grabs and limit aerial counterplay. Leads to tilts, jabs. Leads to mix-ups with tilts, jabs, etc. Mix-ups with tilts, jabs, short hop aerials, dashes, etc. Grabs, etc. I'd also say do grabs instead of dash attack. Dash attack for primary follow up on landings and after light hits. And then the last big one that I think came to mind was the edge guarding stuff. So do grab edge when opponent dips below double jump onto stage height. Cool. This is what I've got, and I think all of these will help you quite a bit. Do you remember anything else that we should flag or point out? Or I know we talked about like potentially like pivot grabbing by going through people with her. Is that something that you're interested in working on, or that you want to write down, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Because I think that one's fun. I think that one is quite fun. So learn, pivot grab, dash through opponent, pivot grab for back throw.
I loved pivot grabbing in Smash 4. It's super fun.
It is super fun. I didn't realize that you came from Smash 4. That's sick. Who did you play?
Oh no, I came from Melee.
Oh, I see. Well, who did you play in Smash 4?
First Sheik, but then they nerfed her way too much, and then I switched to Diddy Kong.
Gotcha. Good man. Don't play it. Like if they turn Sheik into a low tier, don't play her. Like that's my
right.
Yeah, like she's just not fun. Like she's the character of decisiveness, and like when they take that away from her, I just don't like it. So one other thing I want to kind of like stress is, so with the this is a bit more of like a conceptual one, but I'm gonna point it out anyway because I think it's important. So I know that you said you don't really like sit down and think about your plays very often, or perhaps before this point, and that's okay, because again, like lots of people get very good playing intuitively. I think it helps to think about our plays, but like lots of people have made their careers out of like just going off vibes, and that's totally fine. That said, I would suggest when you have a problem or a problem matchup, I would approach these situations a little bit more, like I would consider your decisions a little bit more. I think one of the most useful things you can do is like, what is the problem I'm trying to solve with this play? Or what is the problem with, like, when you're evaluating a decision, like what is causing my play to not work, and how do I overcome that problem? Because I just think about like how we down smashed like in the edge guard you down smashed, and then you went for down tilt when I asked you what could we do instead. But those are both like fundamentally the same move in this spot. So I think that like I would approach it like that, like instead of looking for the things that are the same or similar, maybe we look for the things that are different that could work. Because it'll get you thinking about like the game more broadly, and you'll be surprised at some of the things that you find that you weren't thinking about. If we stick to the things that we know are like kind of good or like that generally work, then we probably won't find the things that, you know, we won't really like be encouraged to expand. But that's really the only way that we get better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it would be like, think about different solutions to your, to your problem situations. And then I would say in quotation, what things are like what I'm doing, what I'm currently doing, and what things are not like them.
Yeah, I think with what I wrote to you earlier, like, it's really easy playing for so long to get stuck in a certain way of thinking, and like it's hard to get out of that.
Yeah. Well, I hope that, and do you think that this kind of approach is helping you do that, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we are a little over time, don't worry about it, this is why I charge the big money, but I had fun. I hope that you enjoyed your time too. Yeah, if you have any constructive feedback for me, let me know. Beyond that, is there anything you'd like to say before we close for the day, or do you think we're set?
I just have to say that this is random, but that time you reversed 3-stocked MACD, I think on Fountain.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So good.
That is one of my favorite highlight moments of my like career. I love that. I remember the crowd was like, I think what it was is that we could hear the commentators, and I think that I heard Toph like say that like, oh, he's done, and I'm like, okay, no, hell no, like absolutely not, no. I'm not going to be written off like this. And I was like, okay, let's just like, I'm like, okay, I'm playing like a 3 out of 10. None of my execution is working. I'm definitely losing in the next round if I win, even if I win this, or like the round right after, even if I win this. But you know what? I don't care about any of that. I'm going to win this set, so help me God. I was too stubborn to die. That was sick, though. I didn't... Honestly, no, people don't remember that one, but that was a really, really fun set. I felt so bad for him after, though. Because he was like... He was... but it was a sick moment. I'm happy for me.
Yeah, I think it was even sicker that, like, he looked kind of mad, and you looked so happy.
The funny thing is he was a friend at the time, too, right? So it's just like... It's one of those, like, oh, I'm so happy me, but that's so unfortunate for you, and that's...
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I will need to definitely take a look, more of a look at your games, though. Especially if you're in Bobby's region. I have a feeling I will wind up taking a look at them. In the meantime, though, I will go. But if you ever want to book again, hit me up. And this was lovely. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you so much, you too.